In the silence of the void, can the stars be known? A whisper in the darkness, a seed of light is sown. Laws of physics woven tight like strings in harmony, a universe in balance, fine-tuned for you and me. Is it chance or is it fate, the patterns we perceive? A mind behind the cosmos in every breath we breathe? Each force and every constant, a note in time's refrain, a conscious hand that guides us through chaos and through pain. If the universe can think, does it dream like you and I? Are we but its reflection, or the reason it asks why? In every star's eruption, in every tear we cry, a mirror of the cosmos searching for the sky. In the depths of space and time where echoes never cease, keep searching for the meaning in whispers of the breeze. In the tuning of the universe where consciousness entwines, where both questions and the answers in a grand design.
In the silence of the cosmos where shadows blend with light, lies a path to understanding through the terror of the night, where visions are not just fears but reflections sharp and clear of the truth that lies in darkness and the falsehoods we hold dear. Whispers from the void and echoes of the truth in the dance between the real and the uncouth. Tendrils of enlightenment in the darkness dread, weaving through the nightmares to where the truth is led. Through the veil of our perceptions, in the depth of cosmic scars, lie the seeds of our awakening beneath the extinguished stars. Shadows cast by ancient gods, not to ensnare but to guide towards the light of understanding where truth and peace abide. In the chaos of our minds, a symphony of strife, lies the key to our liberation, to a more enlightened life. Each fear a question waiting for the courage to be spun into a tapestry of insights where truth and shadows become one. In the realm of our deepest fears lie architects of night, crafting not horrors but a path towards understanding and light. With every touch of darkness in the abyss so vast, a mosaic of truth emerges from the shadows cast. Beware not the whispers in the silence of your dreams, for within the kingdom of shadows enlightenment gleams. Beyond the cosmic terror, a call to the deep, to embrace the journey within, where the truest insights sleep.
Imagine the universe as a vast, intricately woven tapestry, where every thread, whether it be energy, consciousness, or matter, plays a vital role in creating and sustaining the grand design. This cosmic fabric is held together by triads, sets of three fundamental forces or principles that work in harmony to maintain balance. But what ensures that these elements, each with its own distinct nature, remain in equilibrium? Here, we introduce the concept of morphic fields, the free energy principle, and the logos as self-organizing patterns as keys to understanding this delicate balance. This triadic model of panpsychism provides a scientifically grounded and holistic framework that integrates these concepts to explain how energy, structure, and consciousness interact to sustain the universe. At the heart of our model is the foundational triad of light, logos, and spirit, each representing a fundamental aspect of reality. Light symbolizes the raw, divine energy, the pure potential that underlies all existence. Logos represents the divine order, the logical patterns and principles by which this potential is organized into coherent forms, imposing structure and order upon the universe. Spirit, then, is the divine consciousness, the awareness that animates these forms, making the universe a living, self-reflective entity rather than a mere mechanical system. These three elements, light, logos, and spirit, form the foundational triad, the basic structure from which everything else emerges. But what guides and sustains the harmonious interaction of these elements? This is where the concepts of morphic fields, the free energy principle, and the self-organizing patterns of the logos come into play. Morphic fields, introduced by biologist Rupert Sheldrake, propose that the patterns and behaviors we observe in nature are not random, but are guided by non-physical informational forces that influence development across time and space. These fields act as the unseen architects of the universe, ensuring that the elements within any physical or metaphysical triad interact in a balanced and harmonious manner. Morphic fields provide the underlying blueprints that shape the universe's structure, guiding the evolution of life and consciousness in a way that transcends mere physical causality. For instance, in the foundational triad, morphic fields guide the transformation of light, divine energy, into logos, divine order, ensuring that potential energy is not chaotic but structured according to universal patterns. Similarly, these fields facilitate the interaction of spirit, divine consciousness, with the organized universe, ensuring that consciousness is an integral part of this process, making the universe both ordered and self-aware. The Logos, as the second element of the triad, represents not just divine order, but the very patterns and logic by which elements self-organize into coherent systems. In this model, the Logos is the set of principles or logical structures that dictate how energy, or light, is organized into complex, stable forms. These patterns are not arbitrary. They are the fundamental rules governing the behavior and interaction of elements, whether they be subatomic particles, biological organisms, or entire galaxies. In practical terms, these self-organizing patterns of the Logos can be understood as the natural laws and principles that guide the formation of complex systems. For example, in physics, these might include the laws of thermodynamics, while in biology, they might involve principles of genetic inheritance and cellular organization. In our model, these patterns are not just descriptions of what happens, they are the active forces that shape and structure reality, turning raw potential of light into ordered existence. By understanding the Logos as these self-organizing patterns, we move from abstract metaphysical speculation to a concrete, testable model. The patterns of the Logos can be observed, studied, and even predicted, providing a scientific foundation for our triadic model. This makes our approach not just a philosophical idea, but a framework that can be explored and validated through empirical research. While morphic fields provide the blueprint and the Logos establishes the rules of self-organization, the free energy principle, proposed by neuroscientist Carl Friston, offers a powerful explanation for the motivation behind the elements' interactions. According to this principle, all living systems are driven by a fundamental urge to minimize unpredictability, free energy, and chaos. In the context of spirit, this principle reflects the drive to achieve a state of balance, where the universe's complex interactions are guided by a deep-seated need to reduce uncertainty and maintain order. This principle complements the role of morphic fields and the Logos by explaining why light, Logos, and spirit strive to maintain balance within their triadic relationship. The drive to minimize free energy motivates the elements to align with the patterns and structures defined by the Logos, ensuring that the universe remains coherent, stable, and dynamic. Thus, the free energy principle acts as the force that propels the universe toward equilibrium, where energy, structure, and consciousness are in constant dialogue. The triadic model of panpsychism extends beyond the foundational triad to encompass various levels of reality, each governed by the interplay of morphic fields and the free energy principle. Let's explore how these principles apply across different triads, each representing a fundamental aspect of the universe's structure. In the creative triad, we see creation light, structure Logos, and consciousness spirit interacting to bring new forms into existence, organize them into meaningful patterns, and imbue them with reflective awareness. Morphic fields guide the creative flow of energy into stable structures, ensuring that the raw creative potential is not expressed randomly, but is organized into coherent, stable forms. The free energy principle drives consciousness to reduce uncertainty by aligning with these patterns, ensuring that creation is purposeful and meaningful. The cosmic triad illustrates the unity of the universe, where the macrocosm, God as the whole, the microcosm, God in the particular, and interconnection, God as unity, reflect the interconnectedness of all things. Morphic fields play a crucial role in maintaining the coherence of the universe by linking the macrocosm and microcosm, ensuring that every part of the universe, no matter how small, is related to the whole. The free energy principle motivates this interconnectedness, driving the universe to maintain coherence and reduce the chaos that could arise from disconnection. This harmonious balance ensures that all levels of existence reflect and influence each other, maintaining the unity of the cosmos. In the evolutionary triad, potential light, actualization Logos, and reflection spirit, offer insight into how the universe evolves. Morphic fields guide the actualization of potential into structured reality, acting as blueprints that shape how genetic potential manifests in physical form. These fields ensure that the evolutionary process is not random, but follows certain patterns and laws. The free energy principle drives reflection and consciousness to emerge, seeking to minimize unpredictability by understanding and aligning with these patterns. Evolution, then, is guided by both informational structures and a drive toward balance and order, where life and consciousness are intricately woven into the fabric of the cosmos. Finally, the reflective triad of simplicity light, complexity logos, and self-realization spirit represents the culmination of the universe's evolutionary journey. Morphic fields guide the transformation from simplicity to complexity, ensuring that complexity emerges in a balanced and coherent manner. The free energy principle drives life to evolve from simple forms to self-aware consciousness, constantly seeking to reduce uncertainty and chaos. Self-realization in this context is not just a byproduct of complexity, but an inherent potential within the universe, one that emerges as life aligns with the deeper patterns that shape its evolution. Critics, particularly from materialistic perspectives like those of Richard Dawkins, might argue that the introduction of morphic fields and the free energy principle complicates the naturalistic explanation of the universe, viewing them as unnecessary metaphysical additions. However, this triadic model can be seen as a natural extension of scientific inquiry, much like the acceptance of gravitational or electromagnetic fields, non-physical forces that are scientifically recognized. Morphic fields, rather than contradicting natural laws, offer a way to understand how complex, organized systems maintain coherence across time and space. They provide a scientifically plausible mechanism for the deep interconnections observed in the universe, which evolution alone might not fully explain. Similarly, the free energy principle aligns with scientific principles by explaining the inherent drive toward balance and order, a concept that resonates with observed phenomena in both biological and physical systems. By integrating these concepts, the triadic model offers a comprehensive explanation for how the universe remains balanced, with energy, structure, and consciousness intertwined in a dynamic equilibrium. This approach not only addresses potential criticisms from materialistic perspectives, but also enriches our understanding of the complex interplay between matter, energy, and consciousness in the evolving cosmos. In this panpsychist perspective, morphic fields and the free energy principle act as the non-physical forces that ensure balance within the triads of light, logos, and spirit. Together, they maintain the coherence and order of the universe, guiding the evolution of life and consciousness in a way that is both natural and deeply interconnected. By integrating these concepts, we provide a scientifically grounded explanation for how the elements of each triad interact and balance each other, offering a comprehensive model that aligns with both scientific inquiry and a broader understanding of the universe. This triadic model of panpsychism presents a unified vision of the universe where energy, structure, and consciousness are in constant dialogue, guided by deep, non-physical structures and driven by the fundamental urge to reduce unpredictability and maintain balance. It shows how the universe, from the smallest particles to the grandest cosmic scales, continually seeks equilibrium, a balance that is reflected in every aspect of reality, enriching our understanding of the complex, interconnected web of existence. In the heart of the burning sphere, a whisper of thought, proto-conscious flames in every photon caught. From the core to the corona, a sentient dance, elemental awareness in every solar glance. Across the void, where darkness sings in light, the sun's pulse connects, a beacon in the night. In the cosmic web, where galaxies entwine, the sun's awareness, part of the grand design. As a neuron in the vast celestial brain, each flare a thought in the universe's refrain. On Earth below, where life begins to dream, the sun's warmth ignites consciousness gleam. In the dance of light and shadow, mind takes form, emerging from the sun's persistent storm. In each heartbeat, in every breath we claim the sun's touch, a spark in evolution's flame. The sun stands at the crossroads of the all, a nexus where the conscious currents fall. It bridges realms, from star to waking eyes, in the fusion of the many, where consciousness lies.
Tesla cautioned, "Today's scientists have substituted mathematics for experiments, and they wander off through equation after equation, and eventually build a structure which has no relation to reality." In the lab where the focus is narrow, scientists tread a singular path to follow. Equations stack high but experiments fade. In a maze of numbers, reality's betrayed. Single-discipline learning stands alone. Isolated theories, seeds not sown, patterns missed in a world so vast, connections lost, innovations past. Tesla warned of this perilous road where minds wander but hearts corrode. Broaden your view, embrace the wide. For true understanding, let insights collide. Limited perspective, a vision constrained, locked in a cycle where growth's restrained. Break the loop, seek fields anew, cross the lines, let wisdom accrue. Cross the bridge to broader shores where knowledge dances, endlessly explores. From narrow to wide, let understanding grow. In the confluence of minds, let true wisdom flow.
Tick-tock, tick-tock, the gears they chime, in a universe spun from the threads of time. A place where reason dances with rhyme, and clocks don't just tick, they dream in prime. Through the looking glass, the gears all gleam. Alice sees a world that isn't what it seems. A land where logic flows like a stream, yet bends and twists in a curious dream. Down the rabbit hole, where paths converge, cause and effect delightfully merge. The Hatter's watch spins, not to diverge, in a clockwork world where all things surge. She twirls through patterns, in wonderment spun, in a cosmos where all and yet nothing is done. The clockwork tick is both law and fun, where the gears of fate turn for everyone. So she skips through the gears, in a dance ever fair, knowing the universe, with its intricate care, is more than just clockwork, it's a wonder to share. A place where both dreams and gears can dare.
In the quest to understand complex systems, two approaches have dominated scientific inquiry: reductionism and holistic models. Reductionism, which focuses on breaking systems down into their smallest measurable components, has yielded significant insights, particularly in fields like physics, chemistry, and engineering. By isolating variables and conducting controlled experiments, reductionism enables precise measurements and detailed analysis of individual components. However, reductionism encounters limitations when applied beyond the realm of observable phenomena, especially when it speculates about unobservable entities or forces. This approach can lead to a fragmented understanding that fails to capture the emergent properties and interconnected dynamics inherent in complex systems. In contrast, the triadic model offers a holistic framework that emphasizes the relationships and interactions between components within a system. Unlike reductionism, triadic models are not just conceptual tools, they are descriptive representations of how natural systems self-organize. These models map directly onto the fundamental ratios and patterns observed in nature, often referred to in the context of sacred geometry. By identifying and analyzing triadic relationships, sets of three interrelated observable phenomena, this approach provides insights into the higher-order dynamics that govern complex systems. The fundamental logic of triadic relationships define how three object systems can maintain a state of balance or homeostasis. The principle underlying our proposal is that establishing these types of balanced, homeostatic relationships is how the universe naturally evolved and established stable systems, such as stars, planets, and life. The logic shows how pieces can naturally fall into place, and the 22 patterns are comprehensive for three-object systems. Our proposal aims to integrate the strengths of both reductionism and triadic holism into a unified scientific framework. This synthesis acknowledges the precision that reductionism brings to the measurement and analysis of individual components, while positioning triadic models as the overarching structure that captures the self-organizing principles of natural systems. One of the key strengths of the triadic approach lies in its ability to provide a nested structure within which systems can be understood at multiple levels of complexity. In this framework, a system is represented by a triad, a set of three correlated measurements or components that are in dynamic relationship with one another. Importantly, if a part of this system needs further exploration, it can be broken down into a subtriad. This sub-triad delves into the finer details of the state it represents, offering deeper insights into how that specific component can be influenced or controlled. However, even as we drill down into the components through sub-triads, the higher-order triadic relationship remains paramount. The dynamics of the entire system are governed by the interactions within this overarching triad, which cannot be fully understood by focusing solely on its individual parts. The triads operate hierarchically, where the state of a sub-triad is directly influenced by its role in the larger triadic structure. This nesting allows for a multi-layered understanding of natural systems, where detailed examination of components enabled by reductionism is contextualized within the broader, self-organizing patterns described by the triadic model. The triadic approach goes beyond being a mere model. It is a literal description of how natural systems self-organize. Each triad corresponds to a specific set of equations and ratios reflecting the inherent order within the universe. Sacred geometric ratios, preserved for our understanding of countless millennia, express the relationships between components in a way that is both mathematically rigorous and deeply connected to the natural world. In this sense, triads are not abstract constructs, but direct expressions of the fundamental principles that govern the behavior of all systems. Whether we are examining atomic structures, ecological networks, or economic systems, the triadic relationships provide a framework for understanding how these systems organize, evolve, and sustain themselves. This approach focuses on how dynamics of the universe are inherently relational, with each component's behavior being shaped by its interactions with others within a structured triadic framework. How those interactions take place is best conceptualized in the concept of fields, in the line of Tesla's electromagnetic fields to Sheldrake's morphic fields, but governing all possible interactions. It is not our purpose to provide a mechanism for fields, but to explain how they explain empirical data and thus deduce how they operate logically. The fundamental critique of reductionism lies in its assumption that understanding the parts in isolation will lead to a complete understanding of the whole. This is where reductionism so often goes wrong, attempting to break fundamental measurements into intangible, immeasurable components to explain their behavior, instead of looking at those measurements as components of a broader system. While reductionism excels in providing precise measurements and detailed analysis of individual components within a system, its utility is greatly enhanced when integrated into the triadic framework. Reductionist methods remain most meaningful when they are situated within the broader context of the higher-order triads that govern the system's overall dynamics. They allow us to drill down into the sub-triads, offering fine-grained insights into the mechanics of specific components. However, it is crucial not to confuse the elements of a related triad with sub-elements of one or more of its components. Failure to identify the correct three variables in relationship is the reason that most modern mathematics rely on all manner of abstract functions to explain correlated measurements that don't directly influence each other. In this integrated approach, reductionism continues to serve as a tool for detailed measurement and analysis, while the triadic model provides the overarching structure that explains how these components relate to one another within the system. The fine measurements of reductionism can be incorporated into the triadic ratios, enhancing our understanding of how changes at the micro level influence the macro level dynamics. This synthesis allows for a more nuanced understanding of complex systems, where both the detailed mechanics of individual components and their relational interactions are taken into account. However, the triadic approach challenges core reductionist assumptions by proposing that the true dynamics of a system cannot be fully understood without considering the relationships between its components. The higher-order triadic relationships control the behavior of the system as a whole, and these relationships cannot be reduced to the sum of the parts. As taught in esoteric wisdom, the higher overcomes the lower. By integrating reductionism into the triadic framework, we seek to rebut the basic reductionist principle and offer a more accurate and holistic approach to scientific inquiry. This approach adheres to first principles. We know only that which we can measure. We respect the strengths of reductionism in providing precise measurements, but insist we situate these measurements within a relational structure that reflects the true nature of complex systems. The triadic model, with its emphasis on nested, hierarchical relationships, offers a framework that is both descriptive of natural organization and capable of incorporating the detailed insights provided by reductionism. The explanations of systems that it offers are not only well-defined, but easy to understand. This benefits not just human science directly, but improves the emergent capability of artificial intelligence. By aligning our syntactic and semantic patterns with logical patterns, it allows AI to understand, interpret, and act safely in complex situations. In summary, our proposal advocates for a synthesis of reductionism and triadic holism, where the fine measurement capabilities of reductionism are integrated into the layered relational structures described by the triadic model. This approach not only provides a more complete and nuanced understanding of complex systems, but also reflects the true nature of how these systems self-organize. By grounding scientific inquiry in the literal descriptive power of triads and their corresponding ratios, we can develop a more accurate and holistic approach to understanding the universe, one that respects both the details of the parts and the dynamics of the whole. In the whisper of the wind, in the stillness of a stream, Leonardo saw the world as more than it might seem. He traced the veins of leaves, the flight of birds on high, learning from the quiet earth and the endless sky. In the dance of shadows, in the sun's warm glow, he sought the patterns that only nature could bestow. Through every curve and line, in each subtle change, he mapped the laws that time and life arrange. From these humble roots, a web of truth he spun, in the order of the stars, in the rise of the sun. The logic of the universe, so simple yet profound, echoed in his mind, where all answers could be found. The rivers flowed with reason, the mountains stood with grace, every motion, every stillness left a trace. He saw the hidden threads that others might not see. In the fabric of existence, he found the key. With knowledge in his hands, he turned it into might, forging dreams from daylight, creating day from night. His inventions were the children of the laws he knew, born from nature's cradle, tested and true. The wings of flight, the power of the wheel, each design a testament to what he could feel. For in the heart of man and the soul of stone, he found the same rhythm, a truth of his own. But in a world that forgets the earth's own song, where eyes grow blind and hands grow wrong, the leaves no longer whisper, the stars no longer guide, and all that's left is a hollow pride. The lines are blurred, the truth is lost, and the price of ignorance is too great a cost. If we misread the signs that nature writes, mistake the darkness for the light, the web of truth becomes a tangled snare, a place where even the wisest might despair, in a world where falsehood wears the crown. Our inventions stumble, our progress stalls in a house of cards that forever falls. When the root is severed, the tree cannot grow, and all that's built will fall like snow. Our hands, once skilled, will lose their touch, for without nature we miss too much. The wings will break, the wheels won't turn, and all our hopes will crash and burn. For in the heart of man and the soul of stone, without the truth, we are left alone. In the silence of his study, Leonardo knew that nature's wisdom was the only truth. In every line he drew, in every thought unfurled, he saw the harmony that ruled the world. His process was a dance, where each step was sure, avoiding every pitfall, making each line pure. For he understood in every breath and sigh that to create with meaning one must never deny the lessons whispered by the earth and sky. In science's light, so clear and bright, the physical unfolds. From atom's core to cosmic shore, the universe it molds. Newton's laws and Darwin's cause in empirical embrace reveal the blend from start to end of matter's timeless race. Philosophy's muse with ancient hues doth paint the mind's expanse, where reason's grace in endless chase conducts its solemn dance. With Plato's forms and Kant's grand norms, the abstract paths entwine, to seek the truth from age to youth through every soul's design. Esoteric lore through mystic door explores the unseen when, in twilight's breath, beyond mere death, it questions once again. And so we stand on shifting sand, where these three rivers meet, in wonder's gaze through life's strange maze. We walk with steady feet. Thus let us dream by starry stream and find our deepest quest to understand by heart and hand the secrets we possess.
Light, logos, spirit, three in one design, cosmic forces dancing, space and time they bind. Order from the chaos, patterns in the mind, the universe in balance where consciousness aligns. In the dawn of creation, light first kissed the void, a spark ignited order where chaos once deployed. In the web of existence where patterns intertwine, the logos whispers softly, shaping space and time. Self-organizing structure, a logic deep and true, energy finds purpose in patterns old and new. Spirit moves within in every thought and dream, aligning consciousness with the cosmic stream. The universe seeks balance in every ebb and flow, free energy guiding where chaos fears to go. Minimizing the discord, the patterns hold their sway. In the dance of light and logos, spirit finds its way.
Many frameworks of understanding have been built on the intuition of interconnectedness, but rarely have they advanced a clear understanding of the underlying structure upon which the universe's systematicity thrives. That is what we seek to do here today. Over the next few minutes, we will explain the basic patterns that underlie reality, replicating throughout as the systems we perceive and understand. But first, a little background. Systematicity emphasizes how different components interact, influence each other, and contribute to the overall behavior and functionality of the system. Systematicity ensures that systems, whether they be cognitive processes, ecosystems, or technological frameworks, operate in an organized manner, allowing for predictability, stability, and adaptability. In philosophical contexts, systematicity helps explain the unity and coherence of knowledge, as seen in Immanuel Kant's work, where different cognitive faculties interact systematically to form coherent understanding. In scientific disciplines, systematicity underpins theories and models that describe the interdependencies within complex systems, such as Ludwig von Bertalanffy's general systems theory, or Norbert Wiener's cybernetics. By understanding and modeling these interconnections, researchers and practitioners can develop more comprehensive and effective solutions to complex problems. Triadic modeling. The triadic modeling approach is a powerful framework for analyzing and understanding systematicity. It involves examining the relationships and interactions between three interconnected elements, allowing for a nuanced and comprehensive analysis of how systems function. Triads allow us to focus on specific sets of attributes and interactions within a system that controls specific outcomes, not to the detriment or exclusion of others, but to understand more and deeper levels of interconnectedness. Triads can themselves be related to each other using the same patterns, providing a comprehensive method for mapping systems, identifying and categorizing different types of interactions, dependencies, and feedback mechanisms within a system. The real value of the triadic patterns comes from their logical modeling using necessary conditions. By aligning specific triadic interactions to specific logical triads, we can enhance the predictive usefulness and mathematical representation of the system. This structured approach allows for a more precise and comprehensive understanding of the dynamics within complex systems. Each model exists as three conjoined logical statements, utilizing three variables. The logic of the statements create dependencies amongst the variable that ensure all must be true together or false together, representing the essence of homeostasis. There are 22 because that is the number of ways we can organize logical statements to this end, and thus comprehensively demonstrate the ways in which interlinked three object systems can interact. Just like our content cannot exist without my efforts and your subscriptions, so please hit that subscribe button now. And so, without further ado, allow me to present 22 triadic models for understanding the systemic nature of the universe. Coexistence. This triad suggests that the elements exist together in a mutually dependent manner. If one element exists, the other two must also exist. It describes a balanced, static system where the presence of one implies the presence of all. Equilibrium. This represents a state where the absence of one element necessitates the absence of the others. It portrays a stable system where non-existence is balanced across the elements. Reinforcement. This triad represents a cyclic system where each element reinforces the next, creating a positive feedback loop. The presence or activation of one element propels the entire system forward. Feedback. Negative feedback is highlighted here, where the absence or decrease in one element leads to the absence or decrease in the next, and so on in a loop. This type of system stabilizes itself by reducing deviations, causal. This triad emphasizes linear causality, where the first element causes the second causes the third, and the first is a necessary condition for the third. This creates a direct linear cause-effect relationship across elements. Reversion. Here, the absence of one element prevents the presence of another, but interestingly, the presence of the third implies the presence of the first, suggesting a reversion mechanism that could reset the system. Nonlinear. Nonlinear relationships where the influence jumps over intermediate elements, yet absence directly affects the end element. It shows indirect influence pathways within the system. Retrospective. This reflects a backward-looking system where the absence of an element affects previous elements in the causal chain, demonstrating how later states influence earlier ones. Inclusive. This triad highlights an inclusive system where one element's presence ensures the presence of the other two, culminating in an interconnected network. Exclusive. Exclusive relationships focus on how the absence of two elements leads to the absence of a third, ensuring that lack of components systematically reduces the system's functionality. Conjoined. This represents a conjoined system where the active and mediating elements directly influence the secondary, which influence both of the others, providing multiple independent avenues to affect a variable. Bottlenecked. Bottlenecked relationships show how the lack of one element constrains the system, making the system sensitive to specific points of failure. Harmonic. Harmonic systems exhibit synergy, where the combination of every two elements produces or necessitates the third, reflecting balanced cooperation. Dissonant. Dissonant systems focus on mutual exclusion, where the absence of any element disrupts the presence of the two others, indicating instability and fragmentation. Convergent. Convergent relationships show how every element influences the other two, driving the system towards a state where all elements coexist, representing systemic cohesion. Divergent. Divergent systems depict how the absence of any combination of two elements leads to the absence of the third, illustrating branching instability. Combination. This triad represents combinatorial interactions where the presence of each two elements cannot coexist with the absence of the third, highlighting complex, exclusive interdependencies. Division. Division focuses on how the absence of pairs of elements prevents a third from emerging, highlighting the significance of context for all phenomena. Association. Association triads explore how two pairs of elements in a system each cannot exist without the presence of a third, while the last pair jointly influence the third, tying the triad together. Disassociation. Disassociation depicts how the absence of two pairs of elements prevents a third from emerging, with the common element of those pairs acting as a necessary condition for the other two. Integration. Integration shows how directional influences between two of the pairs of elements can require emergence of a third, with those third items influencing the common element of the first two pairs. Disintegration. Disintegration examines how specific interactions between the absences of elements in a system can negate or prevent a third element, with the absence of the third elements having as a required condition the absence of the other, providing a clear pivot point for the breakdown of the system. System extensibility. By considering systematicity through these triads, we can see how each set of relationships defines different modes of interaction within a system. These triads help categorize various types of dependencies, feedback mechanisms, causal chains, and interdependencies. They provide a structured way to analyze how changes in one part of the system affect the whole, enabling a comprehensive understanding of systemic behaviors. The triadic modeling approach can be applied across a wide range of fields, enhancing our understanding of systematicity in each context. In Kantian epistemology, the triadic model can help analyze how sensibility, understanding, and reason interact to form coherent knowledge. By establishing necessary conditions, we can predict how changes in one faculty impact the overall knowledge system. In Hegelian dialectics, it can model the thesis-antithesis-synthesis progression, providing a structured way to understand the evolution of ideas. The triadic model can elucidate interactions between mental representations and processes, offering predictive insights into cognitive tasks and language generation. The triadic framework can model and predict the effects of feedback mechanisms, enhancing our understanding of system stability and adaptability. By systematically mapping biotic and abiotic interactions, the triadic model can predict ecological outcomes and guide sustainable practices. The triadic approach can enhance algorithmic design by predicting how data inputs, processing mechanisms, and outputs interact and evolve. The opportunities are nearly limitless as triadic modeling represents the actual systematicity of the universe. And so, modeling interactions becomes a simple matter of relating measurable variables to identify the correct logical dependencies. This approach provides a powerful framework for enhancing diverse fields. By using logical modeling and establishing necessary conditions, we can align specific interactions to specific triads, leading to enhanced predictive usefulness and mathematical representation. This structured approach allows for a more precise and comprehensive understanding of the dynamics within complex systems, facilitating deeper insights and more effective solutions. By applying the triadic modeling approach, we can enhance our understanding of systematicity, leading to more comprehensive theories and practical applications.
1 Corinthians 2, 6-7 reads, "We do, however, speak a message of wisdom among the mature, but not the wisdom of this age or of the rulers of this age, who are coming to nothing. No, we declare God's wisdom, a mystery that has been hidden, and that God destined for our glory before time began." Reflect. Before the dawn of measured time, in silent, endless night, the light was born potential, weaving worlds from endless sight. Logos carved the path of stars, where chaos bowed to sacred lines. In a cosmic dance of harmony, the spirit's breath entwines. In fields where unseen patterns flow, morphic whispers guide the way. Through atoms, thoughts and dreams, they shape the night and forge the day. The wisdom of this age may fade, as rulers' thrones to dust. Yet through the Logos, God's mind speaks of a truth we trust. The spirit deep within reflects the light in every soul, mirrors of divine design, where hearts can find their role. For in the depths of ancient dark, a wisdom set apart. Before the dawn of measured time, it breathed in us an art. Not by the rule of fleeting minds, but by the Logos grace. The free energy within us all drives to the perfect place. A wisdom veiled in mystery, the Spirit's silent guide, unfolding through the light of truth, where God's purpose does reside. So speak we now of secret things, to forms beyond the veil, not wisdom of this passing age, but love that shall not fail. Light, Logos, and Spirit, in a sacred bond do shine, and the universe sings God's own song, a melody divine.